Cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see.
Hello, how are you? This is Johnny with Blacktop Performance, and we got a little something different today happening. No, it's not the 57, it's the grass. It is getting wild, it's getting long, needs mowing. Problem is, lawnmower's not starting, and even if I do get it started, I gotta pull it like 10 times. It'll run for 5 seconds, 7 seconds, and then dies. And we're gonna have to solve this issue today because the grass is getting crazy long out here. What we have here is a lawnmower with a missing air filter and cover. That's due to a friend of mine who, I don't know how, but he ended up losing it. So no doubt we got some grass and debris and dirt probably shot up in the carburetor. But what we have is a Lawn Boy 6.5, a 149cc with smart choke. Kohler engine. Kohler engine's pretty good engine, no doubt about that. But today we're going to diagnose this. Basically, I'm going to do a carb clean, show for anybody out there that needs a little help. I know this is a car channel, but we do work on anything and everything around here. Anything from Hyundais to lawnmowers to Camaros to 57 Chevy. We just do it all here. Now, I almost threw on a video showing y'all how to hook up a dishwasher, because I did that recently, but I didn't. Anyhow, we're going to go in here and tear down this carburetor. Let me get some stuff set up here. Try to show y'all how to work on a lawnmower if y'all have the same issue, because hey, who doesn't have to mow grass, right? And I know lawnmowers can be a headache. So anyway, we're going to start with our air cleaner box here. Should have a filter in here and a cover. If we don't, like I said, missing. But you do have two 10mm bolts holding it on. Take those off. And we're going to give this carburetor a thorough cleaning. Show you how to do it properly, so you can solve your situation. Because 9 times out of 10, when a lawnmower doesn't run or doesn't start, or if she's starting and spitting and sputtering, or if she's like idling at different RPMs, 9 times out of 10 it's your carburetor issue. Needs cleaning. Got junk up in it. Now here's our carb. Here's our throttle. Controls throttle right here. And this arm here would be our smart choke, which is hooked up over to here, the other side. Little canister that's hooked onto the exhaust, and it works off of that. It's open up your choke. Another thing you want to look at is your choke right in here. You want to make sure that it's closed, and it should never be open like that unless it's been running a while. It should always be closed to start. So you want to play with your linkage a little bit, make sure that it is going back to closed position. This is your fuel line. We'll have to disconnect this fuel line. I do have a full tank of gas right here, so I'm gonna have to find something to drain this gas in. We'll disconnect these linkages and then move on to The carburetor is pretty much already loose. It's just being held on by these linkages now. So you want to be careful with your gasket. Save it. Then reuse it. Unless she's ripped or something. And you want to replace it. Remember how it goes. Put it aside. This hose here is basically for like ventilation. It'll hook onto here. Mine just popped off when I moved that lid. So you'll have to manipulate these cables a little bit if you want to take them off. Or you can, well, it's like I'm missing a screw here. Should be a little torque screw here. One there too, looks like. So somebody's been through here before. They left some hardware off. But anyway, to take this throttle cable off, we're going to have to tilt that this way and then push in and up. So I'm going to set this camera down, try to get y'all in focus, and try to give y'all a good view of this happening. So you can still see everything. Alright. Hopefully y'all can see everything good. Let's go ahead and pop our fuel line off. Get this air thing out of the way. So we got our fuel line off. Got it draining into the gas can. Now we're going to undo the linkages. Basically you want to turn this and make the arm straight, so then you can pop this out like that. It just goes in and you can push it down, pop right in. There's also a little spring that's hooked to in the back. Bring you over here. So basically to undo this, you just turn this and then that arm will pop out and push in. Now this is for this engine, but I'm telling you, they're very similar to all the other lawnmowers. May have a little different linkage setup or something, but it's going to be the same for the most part. So if you can work on one lawnmower, clean the carb, you can do it on a lot of different applications. Only thing left we got is this, and you can see it's hooked in like sideways here. Take it off on the other end. Now you could remove this cap. It would probably be easier, but I don't like easy. Actually, I could take two 10mm bolts off and unhook it pretty easy. Because you don't want to break it. You don't want to unbend it. You want to manipulate it out of there. And then that will let the carburetor be free. If you look on this side, let's see. Can actually reach in here and undo it like that. They leave you just enough room. Maybe just enough room to get it out. Let me finish the rest up with my finger. We got a lot of gas drain, and I knew I had a full tank. Alright, 2 10mm bolts are off. Let me check out what's all involved in this. And there it is. So basically it's hooked here. This is for your smart choke. So it automatically, basically this is on the top of the muffler. It heats up and there's like a little bimetallic spring inside. It's wound up and it stretches out. It'll pull this arm to where it'll allow your choke to open up once the engine warms up. But you just manipulate that in there. Now that we get that off, we can actually take the carburetor off completely now. I have to back y'all out some. Now that this is loose, we can pull the carburetor all the way off, and we can manipulate this if we wanted to. But I'm just going to leave it on there. I have to work around it for the cleaning, but not a big deal. Now you can see all kind of dirt and gunk built up here. We're going to be spraying this all out from the clean the whole outside. Then we're going to take these bolts off, pull that cap off, and have a visual inspection on the inside. So we got leaves in here, little leaf there, just all kind of trash and debris. And this is probably my issue. 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a carburetor issue. We're going to clean all the jets out, little holes inside here, clean the needle, and basically give it a good cleaning. So let's get started on that, shall we? Okay, I gotta go get some carb cleaner, and I'll be right back. Alright, first thing I'm gonna do is spray the outside, get a lot of that junk off of there, clean it out. And I'm doing it over this pad so it won't get down in the grass and kill the grass or anything. Make sure you wear eye protection. You don't want none of this in your eyeball. Just a rough spray so then I can wipe it clean. Because everything works better clean. And of course I forgot my rag, so I'm going to go get a rag so I can wipe all this down while she's good and wet. Clean it up a little bit before we tear into the inside. So basically I'm just going to wipe her down really good, so when we do tear it apart we don't have more junk falling inside. We can keep control of all this. Give it a good once over. Even the linkages, we'll wipe them down so they don't get hung up on no junk. I need a little screwdriver. Pry out some of the corners of junk here. Built up crud, dirt, debris. Just get some of that knocked off a little bit. And we'll blow it all off with air compressor after we get some of it going. Just breaking through a lot of the junk. With the screwdriver or a little pick tool or something, you can get in the crevices and the corners and whatnot. Then you can spray it one more time after you do some of this, busting up a little bit just to break it free. And the carb cleaner will do quite a bit of it, knock it off, wrench it off, blast it off. Alright. Probably pretty good for now. Alright, we're going to blast it off one more time. All around it. It is getting pretty clean now. Now wipe her down one more time and then we'll be good on the outside as far as I'm concerned. Alright, so now we got the outside done. It's decent. Not too bad. Alright, our next thing we're going to do is take off this 10mm on the bottom, release this cap, and have a look on the inside. And she's on there pretty good. So I want to hold it in a way that I know I'm not going to damage anything. You may have to put it in a vise. I might actually sit it down so I can get more pressure on it while it's sitting. Okay. She's torqued pretty good, so I'm actually going to go put this in a vise and break that free so I don't strip it out or nothing. But I'm gonna put it in a vise that has like rubber pads on it, so it'll be in between rubber and not the metal arms, because you don't want to deburr or scratch or put any kind of indentions in this. So you could use wood if you had wood vise. I got some rubber pads I put in my vise and use it that way. So I'll be right back. Alright, so now we got the outside pretty clean. And I've broken this loose. And they got this on hella tight. So just be careful when you pull it apart. There's your needle. And the roll pin that holds this float on. We'll inspect the inside of the cap, and you can see there's all kind of gunk down in there. So we're going to clean this all off real good. And there's a seal. Goes all the way around. Got some gunk on it too. Wipe that down and clean it real good. A little bit of crud built up inside here on the seal. We'll scrape that down and clean it. But the first thing you can do is pull this pin. Pull your float up with the, don't lose your needle. Float looks pretty clean. Put this to the side. And we're going to spray this out real good. One of your main jets right there inside. Little flathead will pull that out. And then we're just going to blow all the passages out, like here, here. Looks like a little gunk in there too. Also, we're going to pull this off. This is basically your idle adjustment. But we want to pull this screw out so we can pull this out and clean underneath it and behind it. Now, on this idle, you can kind of get a visual of how much is sticking out the backside. Like right here. That little piece right there. Kind of count how many threads you got sticking out, or you can count it as you take it out, because you want to get it back to basically where it is, because that was a good idle from the factory, if nobody's been in here. So I'm going to just count how many. Half, 1, half, 2, half, 3, half, 4, half, 5, half, 6, half, 7, half, 8, half, 9, half, 10, half, 11, half, 12. Basically 12 and a half, 12 turns. Pull that out. We can clean all that gunk around the threads, and you can see it's fully like dirt inside that hole. Then you take your little screwdriver, pry this up a little bit. We'll pull that out. We definitely want to clean this. Clean the side holes out, clean the bottom. We'll take something to poke through there, and that's all clogged up right there. So that was probably one of my main problems. Take this and clean all this gunk out so it don't fall inside. We'll be spraying that down, cleaning that out. Let's go ahead and take our main jet out. This one's too big, so I gotta go up back to the garage and get a smaller screwdriver that'll fit down in there so we can pull that out. So let me go get that, some more carb spray, and then we'll get back to it. Alright. You'll see it's a little Phillips. I believe this will work. But you don't want to strip it. You want to make sure you got a good screwdriver that'll fit it. we go. Be careful with the threads. You don't want to screw the threads up either, because they are brass. When you go to put this back in, make sure you don't get it cross threaded or anything. Alright, we'll have to poke a little item to that, make sure everything's clean. And this other portion ought to come out as well. If we look, you'll see, I hope the light is okay, but if you look inside behind the choke, you'll see the little brass thing coming up. That's that thing inside, so you can smack it on the ground a little bit, it should pop out. There it goes. Goes in just like that, but there's holes, little bitty holes. You want to make sure all that's clean, and you can poke an item through there, get all those holes cleaned out. But this will go in like that, and then that on top. So we'll clean all this off, spray all this, spray everything down really good. And I gotta go find a little thing I can poke through all these holes, and then we'll start the spraying. So I'll be right back. Alright, so you want to get something like this, or like this, so you can poke all these holes, make sure they're not clogged up, poke through it. So I'm going to take maybe this one of these two, and just ram it through it, make sure no holes are clogged up. You got a lot of little holes in this thing. I forgot what it's called. Even this is too big to go through some of these. If you don't have something like this, you can use like wire and cut it, get the copper out of it, maybe a single strand or two. And if you still don't have none of that, I would be safe to say that you could blow carb cleaner all through here real good, and then blow some compressed air through it, and I think you'd be fine. Just make sure you go through every hole you can. I've poked all them holes. Take this one, I get a little wider one. Do one of these two. This one, oh, I forgot there's a small hole on the other side. Even smaller is needed. Okay, that's clean, that's clean. There are some holes in here you want to go through, poke at it. Just run it through. Make sure everything is not clogged up. Okay. Open your choke up. You may see a couple of little holes there. I want to poke through this as well. If I can get it going in there. On this one I may use this as a little brush, bristle brush. One of these, because it is a little bigger hole. And just make sure I can get that through there. There's a little hole there too. And when you're poking through this hole, there's two here, you can actually see it in that little entranceway there. Make sure it's unclogged, and it goes all the way through even further on the other side. Now that's where this goes when you put that down in there, so you want to make sure that's all cleaned, and you poke that hole out too. There is one, two, there's like three little holes on the inside, right in here and behind the choke. They're gonna be really hard to get to. I'll probably just spray them real good and air blow them. So I'm gonna go ahead and start spraying. Regular carb choke cleaner. Spray it all out real good, and then blow it. Blow it with air. I can't stress how important it is to have eye goggles on. Spray this out one more time. Now I'm going to spray all these little holes, and I can't really get nothing up in there, but I will spray them out, both sides, down in the choke hole, up the choke hole, just to make sure there's nothing obstructing this choke from moving. So I spray down in the hole where it attaches on the top. There's little bitty itty bitty pinholes on the sides. to spray it all real good. So now this is pretty clean. And I've already poked all the holes. So you definitely want to poke this hole, that hole, this hole. And then clean out in here really good. And that's pretty much it. Other than cleaning the small pieces like this, I poked all these holes. Now I'm going to spray them on top. On top of poking them, I'm going to spray them down. Then I'm going to blow them out with some compressed air. Just to make sure everything's super clean. Same thing with this. Oh, I did forget this one. Can't forget this one. Blow it out, clean it out. Now you can tell that's clogged up because it shot the spray back up in my face. And I turn it over and I can see a little mud. Let me move all these clean parts. Okay. Now I'm going to attempt to poke a hole through here, which is pretty clogged up with dirt. So let's spray out a little bit of dirt. There. See, now I can see the hole through there. I see a little daylight. That was definitely one of my problems right there. Why I wouldn't stay running. This had gotten clogged up with dirt. Spray it one more time, make sure. Get small wire. Will actually fit in there. Yeah, this one's too wide even. Some of these hoses are super small. I mean, like super tiny. If I'm lucky, I can get this one in there. See, she still feels clogged up. So at this point, I'm going to blow some high pressure air through here. Okay. Now she looks clean. Pull it to the side, spray it down one more time. Blow it out one more time. Better safe than sorry. Alright. Okay, I can see it now going through. Now she's no longer clogged. I thought that went all the way through, but it doesn't. That's clean. Now I just want to clean the threads off of this, so just spray it down. Just spraying it, blowing it off. Clean. Make sure the bottom of the mount ain't got dirt built up, junk in it. Keep you from screwing it all the way down. Alright, so now we're pretty much down to cleaning this. We'll just spray that down real good. spray the thread, a little rubber seal down. We'll wipe it down a little bit. Make sure we get all that gunk out of there. Little dirt that's built up. Sometimes it gets a little rusty. I'm gonna wipe this seal off. Get some of that dirt off of it. Sometimes these can get a little rusty in there. You may want to take some steel wool or something. Scrape it off. Mine ain't too rusty. It's not so bad. But I've seen some of them that have gotten bad. You don't want to leave the rust. Kind of clean it the best you can. If you take this rubber seal off, you can clean underneath there. And then you could take this and soak it in vinegar, and that'll eat the rust off. Just soak it in some white distilled vinegar for like 20 minutes or so. So this is pretty good. We'll look at the carburetor again. I'm gonna spray the bottom down real good. And there's a hole here we gotta poke. Clean that one as well. I'm pretty sure I did it, but I want to do it again. How far? Okay, it only goes to there. So I spray that out. This thing work with me. Spray everything again. Now we're ready to put it all back together. Alright. The first thing we're going to put back in, guess we'll start from the bottom. We'll put this back in. Goes like that. Drop it down in there. Then your little screw. Drop it down in there. Your little screwdriver. Just slowly get it started. Make sure you don't cross thread it or nothing. Kind of hard to cross thread it, but just take it easy. And torque it down pretty good. Alright. And you'll notice when you look on the inside, you'll notice the brass is sticking up in the center here. So you know you're good. Torque that down just a little more, make sure, because it does vibrate. Lawnmowers do vibrate. So that's pretty good there. Now you can put your needle in. What I'm going to do is spray it down real quick. Make sure she's pretty clean. Blow it off lightly. Now we know the choke is clean. It's pretty fresh. I don't see no junk on it. So we can put our choke in, our float in, get our pin, and then line it up. Just poke it in halfway, it'll hold itself. So now our float's back in. Now we can put our cap back on it. This is the inlet for the fuel, so you want this screw to be on the opposite side basically. So it's going to be like that. So basically from here, you put this on the opposite side. Put your little 10mm in. Make sure you tighten it down pretty good. Because you don't want no leaks. So give it some torque. Then we can turn it over and put our pieces in. Now you got two flat sides, you'll notice. You want one of these flat sides up against that this little section right here. This little flat section. We just drop that down in there. Push it down. Make sure it seats down in there real good. It'll go all the way to the bottom. And my battery's about to die, so I gotta charge my battery. We'll be right back. Alright, so charging my battery up should be good enough to finish this now. And basically, we were at putting this little cap in, lining it up, and making sure it's all the way down seated. Which is now it's completely seated here. You can see right here where it's seated all the way down. Now we can put our screw back in. Remember our turns. Put a little screw in. Half, 3, half, 4, half, 5, half, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 and a half. And that's about where she was. Right about there. Okay. So now we got that back in. We got her all cleaned up. Make sure we ain't got no pieces laying around. This piece actually fell off. This is a little brass thing that could fall off, so make sure you don't forget to put that back in. And it holds this lever so it can travel here like that. So you keep an eye on this, make sure, because when you turn it over it will fall out. So now our carburetor is all back together. So now we just got to put it back on. But before we do that, I want to clean one more thing up, the gasket up against the motor. So we'll move you over there and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, now I want to clean this a little bit. So I'm just going to spray it down real quick, wipe it off. So this built up with dirt and gunk. So I'm going to spray that and clean it off. You'll notice this little spacer here. That keeps your carburetor away from this heat, so your gasoline doesn't evaporate, you know. So your gasoline doesn't overheat and have that effect going on. That's somewhat clean. Now, we want to go ahead and put this on the hair, hook it in, and we can install this back. Okay, we're going to install this again, which means I got to move. Going to install this back and put it in its location. There we go. We can take our 10mm nuts, install on there. Get them started. All right. One more torque. Boom. All right. Now we got that back on. Now we can go back to the carburetor. Get our fuel line hooked back up. That's that. Make sure we put our gasket on right. There she is. Now we'll hook up our cables again. Again, just turn this. Snaps right in. Take our little spring. Hook it in that little hole. There's that. Now our carburetor's all back together. Now we can put our cover on. Get this gas can out of the way. Put your little vacuum hose right here. Clean a little bit. Man, the mosquitoes are out tonight. Put a little screw back on, or 10mm nut, I mean, for the cover. and we should be pretty much set. There we go. Now, make sure we got gas in it, and then we can attempt to start it. See if we did any good. So let me check the gas. Alright, so now we got plenty of gas in it. It was clean, fresh gas. Now let's attempt it. Alright, let's try to start this thing, shall we? See if what I did accomplished anything. Alright, seems to run pretty good. I'll probably have to buy a new spark plug. That one's like 4 years old. Other than that, I think we fixed it. So hope that helps somebody out there with their lawnmower and how to rebuild your carburetor and clean it properly and get back to mowing your yard, which is so much fun. Alright. Well, y'all have a beautiful day, and we will catch you on the next one.